Hello，聽到，係，咁樣呢，今日呢就要玩一個 game 叫做Where the Water Tastes Like Wine。呢個係我前幾日買嘅 game 嚟嘅，佢係關於舊時嘅美國嘅故事。咁我就會去走訪唔同嘅角色啦，同佢哋傾偈，去獲得佢哋嘅故事啦。第一 ，Hello 開始，早晨。我今日咧食咗我最尾嗰餐中藥，我覺得我勇敢啊！我真係食晒啲渣咯，超辛苦。不過我覺得自己成長咗嘅，苦口良藥呢樣嘢係啦。咁呢個佢有呢個繼續旅途呢樣嘢啦，因為咧我琴晚就諗住去試。佢可唔可以轉視窗？結果咧，佢一撳入去，佢就開始播放佢嘅 background 故事，然之後去到某個位先係可以喐噶咯。於是咧，咁我哋一齊去睇多次個 background 啦。OK，let's go。我開翻個 BGM 先。係。等下喺度睇下嗰個 BGM 會唔會太大太細？如果係嘅話咧，咁我就會再升一寬佢嘅。都聽過，我覺得呢個歌選項呢度啦。個聲係我自己電腦較細，所以呢個唔使理。Control WASD 同 Q 搭詞有口實有冇用啊？互動係 Spacebar In-game help 佢有幫助嘅喎，喺呢個 game 入邊。物品係愛鏡頭從此居中。Alright， 人聲在大聲，我坐前少少啦咁。定係我細，一係刪細啲個 BGM， 而家30咯，降低少少啊，25啦。Alright， 早晨 Harry， 早晨 ，Hello，OK， 咁我哋一齊去睇個故仔先，重新啟程。個故事咧就發生喺一間類似酒吧咁嘅物體嘅，即係個背景。啲人喺度賭緊錢啦。
Night has fallen and you're weary from travel. Stars fill the sky above, and in front of you is a brightly lit wooden house, the only building you've seen for days.
係啦，佢有語音嘅，好好，唔使我自己讀，開心。咁我哋就去到一間木屋嗰度啦。
You walk toward the house, hearing the sounds of laughter and talk as you reach the door and push it open.
咁入邊有啲人喺度嘈吵嘅聲音啦。我覺得佢嘅畫風幾好，好經典嘅感覺。嗱，其實望下佢哋啲樣啦。
You sit down and join the game. It's a cheap buy-in, and not many of the other players are very good. The lady fiddling with dice gets good cards, but has no real strategy. The man to your right seems to just hold on to the highest cards he has, regardless of suit or any consideration of matches.
咁咧，我哋去到一間酒館嘅東西啦，咁入邊有啲人喺度賭緊錢。我哋見到咧呢個每一鋪嘅賭注其實唔係好多，同埋唔係個個都好似好勁咁。
The man in gray across from you, though, he's good. He already had the largest pile of coins when you bought in, and while your winnings grow quickly, you can't quite catch him.
咁當然啦，有 打得唔好嘅人咧，亦都有賭到好勁嘅人啦。咁我哋對面有個着住灰色衫嘅男人，佢就有好多籌碼。咁我就點樣都贏唔到佢㗎啦，應該。
One by one, the other players leave the table, sometimes with pique or with wry humor, leaving their winnings with you or the man in grey.
咁啲人就有啲即係輸晒啲錢嚟唔玩咯，咁或者係直接唔玩啊掃興咁樣，就將啲籌碼留翻俾我啦，或者對面嗰個人。望下啲樣。唔知點解有啲奇怪嘅，有風琴都係鎖匙，個個都走晒啦，剩翻我同佢啦。咁我副牌好似唔錯咁喎。
Finally, it's just you and the man in grey. He looks at you, full of humor, and winks. Last hand?
Last hand?
He deals, you draw, and look at your hand. It's good. It's great. The best hand, in fact. A royal straight flush.
Hello,
Spades. Aces high.
咁我哋而家係同人賭緊錢嘅，唔好理啦，呢度仲係前傳嚟嘅啫。
But the man in grey pushes forward his whole pile. You're not sure exactly how much it is, but it's more than you've got. You can't match that.
咁佢想 all in 咧，但係咧因為我哋啲籌碼點樣都多唔過佢，咁我哋冇辦法啦，我哋跟唔到。
The man in grey stops you. Now, if you like, I'll let you wager your word. I know you'll be good for it. Just promise you'll pay the debt, however I ask.
咁咧我哋諗住氣㗎啦嘛，咁但係佢就話：咪住，如果你肯咧，咁我就將你個 promise 度就賭住啦。咁我知你得嘅，咁就喺度拗你唔好放棄呢一局啦。咁我哋睇下個牌先啦。
Yep, 10, Jack, Queen, King, Ace, all spades.
但係跟住主角睇完，哇！我啲牌咁勁，一定贏啦，跟住就應承咗啦。
The man in grey smiles. All right then, I'll call.
I'll call. 然之後亮牌之後就出現啦。呢個係你滴血就係呢個 promise 啦。然之後你嘅牌去咗佢手上啦。然之後你手上嘅牌變晒奇怪嘢，其實唔係人嚟嘅呢個。Hello 靈音，早晨。於是咧咁，因為我哋輸咗個 promise。
Well, your luck wasn't so good, was it? That's quite the hand, but not for the game we're playing. I'm afraid you owe me. Your life, sure, but more than that, your labor.
就因為我哋輕信咗呢個人啦，然之後咧，我哋就輸咗個 promise， 即係佢，因為所有嘢 everything 其實係你賭晒成副身家落去啦，已經個人係佢啦，而且因為佢賣命。
You see, this land is built on stories. It's one big story, this country, woven of many small ones. Few of the small ones are strictly true, and the big story is mostly a lie.
佢就話呢一片土地度咧有好多無數嘅小故事，但係咧好少係真嘅，其實大部分都係一個謊言嚟。
All the stories and songs and myths and legends start somewhere, with a seed. As they're told and retold and passed around, they grow and change to become the stories we know.
我好中意個音樂咯，想講嗰啲故事啊、歌啊、神話同傳說都有起源，但係咧因為經過口口相傳啊，最後先演化成我哋成嘅樣子。
To pay your debt to me, you'll be carrying stories, finding the seeds first and then spreading them. Telling them onwards so they can begin gaining strength. This is no light task. Stories are heavy.
咁我哋而家要還債啊嘛，所以我哋就要去收集故事啦，同埋揾到個起源咧就可以傳播開去，即係當吟遊詩人啲 friend 我自己嘅理解就。然後咧傳遞開去咧個故事就會獲得力量嘅。我覺得似嗰啲咧 日本有啲妖怪咧都係透過呢啲傳說，然之後獲得力量，即係越多人講呢件事啊，即係佢哋就會獲得力量。
Most of the stories you'll find will be small seeds. They might be true, but they'll grow wild and unbelievable with the telling. The more important stories are the true ones, the ones people will tell you about their own lives. Those often get lost in the weaves of the big story.
所以我哋就要去揾人哋親口講。
The more true stories you can find and tell, the more you can weave that truth into the big story. Tarnish it a bit perhaps, but isn't a dingy and battered truth better than a shining lie?
我覺得佢幾好嘅，或者咧唔太光彩，但係暗淡嘅事實咧好過光彩嘅方面。
Now, go ahead. You tell me a story. I'll trade you some information about your task.
就係咁樣啦。OK， 咁我哋而家咧就可以有幾個可以揀，有幾張卡啦，權杖、正義。呢個旅行好似幾好喎。世界、天堂、渴望充實期待成真、命運之輪、高塔，好多都好喎。但係我想去旅行先，去旅行。有關喺晚間慢慢行駛巨大車燈不閃不滅嘅不幸列車，我哋可以睇呢個簡介，呢個係正義，更加多嘅門，雲霧散去，風搖之地，好似好恐怖，充滿乾屍嘅灰燼之地。我覺得第一個比較安全，就你啦。講述咗啲嘢咁快嘅
Travel? That's your job. Wander from place to place, gather those stories and spread them. People get bored hearing the same stories over and over. But an old cliché in one state might be a rip-roaring new yarn in another.
係啊？我逐個撳嘅，我以為撳完一個佢俾我走添，撳呢個咯。道德嘅故事。
You'll sometimes have to make choices about what kind of story you're finding. Is it a love story or a tragedy?
選擇有關暗球嘅故事。
Don't gather too many of one kind.
我哋唔好揾太多同類。
This grand story needs variety.
Variety. And then this one， 風搖之地。
Your deepest desires, your greatest wish, heaven, big rock candy mountain, El Dorado, the promised land, that place just over the ridge where they all say that the water tastes just like the sweetest wine. Well, I don't know where that is.
講咗好多人哋都會想要嘅，但係我都唔知係邊。
It's supposed to be somewhere in this country. Ask the people.
我唔理我哋去問唔同嘅人，可能會得到先。
They're all searching for the same thing.
就好似海賊王咁，要揾呢個寶藏啲 friend。隻眼就有點講過咁樣嘅故事。命運之輪。
It's just luck. Funny how bad luck seems to follow the folks who already have problems aplenty. Well, try your luck out there in this country. See how the dice treat you.
See how the dice treats you.
It's not all bad. You'll have to work hard, but I'll give you the gift for seeing the true shapes of people. Not many who can do that.
有啲好奇啊。Last one 啊，高塔代表死亡改變結局同埋繼續。 灰烬之城故事。
I'll strip away your flesh to make the journey easier.
係啊
But still you'll feel pain.
still you feel pain。咁冇咗血肉都 feel pain。咁個血肉
Hunger,
仲做
weariness, thirst, and despair. They're all part of stories, the part not often told. A death, yes, but don't worry. As long as your task remains, you come back. Go on your way, Seeker. Maybe we'll meet again, or maybe not. Either way, it'll be an experience for you. I'm jealous in some ways.
jealous
I hope you find what you're looking for.
OK， 嗱呢個就我哋啦，睇下，呢個我哋係一個骨頭，攞住個竹竿嘅物體，喺度行路，但係佢行得好慢，可唔可以睇相？我哋去緊邊度？我哋去緊南方，應該啱啦，南方。如果我地理冇錯，好好聽啊個歌，但會唔會有啲大聲啊？你哋覺得咧？我覺得少少大聲，加晒少少 OK。搞咁咩聲
This bungalow is being ransacked. There's furniture piled in the front yard, ammunition heaped under the mailbox, and a crowd of clean-cut men ripping apart a car in the driveway.
有人喺度打劫緊呢個小屋，咁咧前院度有好多嘅家具啦，信箱底下有好多彈藥，一班衣衫襤褸嘅人咧砸開咗街上嘅一架汽車。
The two heavily armed, mud-caked women leaning over the porch railing share the same bored grin. One shouts at you. Lend a couple innocent gals a cigarette?
我哋係骷髏骨嚟噶，我哋會有煙咩？我
One
冇
of the
煙喎。
women wrinkles her nose in disappointment. The other raises a rifle,
骷髏
levels
骨
it
喎，我
at
哋
you, and
會有
shouts,
煙的嗎？
bang. A couple of the men come to take the guns away. Keep that up. We'll move this party down to the station. One snaps.
新嘅故事，走私走而被捕嘅女人。我啲做得好細啊，點解我哋咁巨型嘅 ？USA 故事，我可以變咗睇嗰啲故事啊。Map， 哦 ，OK，Map 係 M。哦 ，Red Line 呢度係我啦，跟住城市、道路、導航，唔係好識用喎，到而家我知道。我呢啲係收集嘅，激活嘅故事。喂，咁多故事，200幾個。有好多未知嘅人物啦。我點樣出翻去 ？OK。但係佢咧會隨住我行路啦，然之後喐。所以有早上啊行，為咗覆衡咧，我對於愛郎先生嘅承諾啦，我嘅目標係咧揾到分散喺美國各地嘅16個角色。同佢哋咧互相講故事，直到得到佢哋嘅信任咧，完成佢哋嘅故事情節。哦，故事透過歷險嚟收集故事，請我講唔同嘅故事啦。如果我將呢個故仔咧講咗俾某個角色啦，個故事會隨住我嘅講述產生演繹，喺世間流傳。之後可能會聽翻人哋改良過嘅版本，我再去改良咧就會更加戲劇性。咦，我全部啲 friend 嚟。OK，旅行 有好多種方式，行就行得好慢，吹口哨可以加緊步伐。可以爬火車，會俾人打㗎。要揾個可以停火車嘅地方，搭便車，唔係架車都會停。我哋會花一整晚嚟傾偈。隻眼睜開再遇到佢哋咧，就會有第二章噶啦。如果完成晒就見唔翻咯，即係一定會分別啦。如果我哋咧，佢哋獲得佢哋信任咧，我就會有呢個紀念品。吹口哨點樣吹口哨？吹口哨係 control。冇用。快咗咩？我唔覺。因為我哋就去呢邊啦，呢邊有波特，呢邊有標誌，好聽嘅音樂，係幾 relaxing。
Off the road and into the woods, you can't help but come across this package by the old tree tied to a sturdy stick. The cloth wrapping conceals, though not particularly well, something large and softly unsettled. Little eyes blink back at you from inside the bundle. The shape gives a start.
Please don't tell my pa that I'm in here.
It says in a small voice.
Why not?
Pa doesn't want to live with us anymore. But I want to go with him. Don't tell him, please. I'm hiding.
咁細粒嘅，係咪人類嚟㗎呢個？我哋同佢講，我哋唔會講啊，定係我哋揾佢爸爸？你哋想要邊個選項？兩個都應該會分嘅，我覺得。得意啊呢隻！有冇選項？有冇人要揀？等一陣，睇下有冇人揀。佢係故事導向，唔係應該話選擇導向㗎啦。點樣都會有唔同嘅轉變。得意啊！我覺得好迷嚟嘅呢個嘢。有冇人要揀？如果冇我就自己揀啦。我揀都會揾佢。
His father must have been here at some point, but you sure can't see him now.
Please go. He's coming back any minute,
says the boy, growing agitated.
He's gonna see you talking to me. Please, go!
He only calms down when you leave. You don't see another soul for miles.
到底係真係有一個睇唔到嘅爸爸，定係佢自己想像出嚟？有新嘅故事。我感覺我唔係好，咁快好似夜晚，好靚啊呢度。點解個人會咁巨大？我都唔明。佢講太好聽，真係超細咯個地圖。咩事？好，呢個小屋。
They don't come every year, you know.
Oh, I know.
The old man is sitting at the edge of a rotting old pier, crooked legs dangling over the water. He watches a pair of seagulls preen and groom each other on a rock just off the shore.
好 sweet 喎，佢哋兩隻海鷗互相整理羽毛。咁
Just when the fishing is going to be good. He taps great, black, thick globs of spent tobacco out of a huge ceramic pipe. I got another year, I guess.
如果唔錯嗰陣，佢哋就會嚟。
Another year of this town being here, he replies, letting a grin spread across his face. If the seagulls came, that means enough fish to keep it in place.
海鷗與漁夫，但係佢每次都係俾的哚我咧，我好想睇多啲個故事係點啊！
The woman walks the small town square with the poise of Betty Davis, a confident stride, and inimitable mannerisms elevating the sidewalk into a plush Hollywood carpet. And wrapped around her neck, a yellow velvet ribbon, bright as an ocean sunrise. You question a well-dressed man parked outside an oyster house. Prudish woman. I took her on a fine date and she didn't remove so much as a ribbon. Excuse me, can you step back from the coop? That's the spirit.
我想講呢
You
最
decide to seek a second opinion.
最奇怪嘅，我哋一個骷髏骨啦，但係大家都好似好正常咁樣同我傾偈。
You talk with a waitress smoking outside a diner. Something funny about her. Just showed up one day. Doesn't work, doesn't live anywhere as far as I know. Just around. Myself, I'd love to know who made all her beautiful clothes.
呢個女人唔使返工，佢就喺附近遊，即係同人去約會。邊個俾衫佢咧？再打聽一下。
The longshoreman watches stevedores load up a crane.
佢死咗㗎啦。
Yellow ribbon? That woman's dead. Ghost dead.
Ghost dead.
Buddies of mine, they've seen her all over the Atlantic for decades now.
幾十年啊！哇！music 細啲。
You can see storm clouds on the horizon, and you don't relish the thought of being caught wandering this rocky seaside road in the rain. Fortunately, you find the lighthouse door open, with a daunting staircase before you. At the top of an ornate wrought iron spiral, you're breathless and feeling the strain on your knees. Rain already batters the walls outside. You can only knock on a heavy wooden door leading into the upper level. Muffled voices and light seep in beneath the door. Looks like we got a visitor. Sounds like a man's voice, deep and rough. Well, behave yourself. I'll open the door. Another man, this one with a higher, more sonorous voice. I always behave myself. He feigns indignation, but his tone betrays affection instead. After a moment, the door unlatches from the inside and opens. The man before you is tall and muscular, with a hint of a paunch beneath his wide chest. The heavy iron knob on the door looks nearly dainty in his huge hand. Didn't want to be out in this rain, did you? Come in.
Come in.
Despite the rough exterior, this room looks like a well-appointed parlor. There's a rug on the well-trod wooden floor and an enormously plush couch. And sat upon it is a stocky fellow grinning through a great hazel-colored beard.
Tea?
He offers, hoisting a teapot.
好得意啊！睇個太陽喺度好耐啦。
The tall one sits on the sofa, wrapping his arm casually around the other lighthouse keeper. 5, says the smaller, but by no means small, man.
That long? Time flies. We traveled together before that. You must have some good stories from the road, huh?
係啊，我哋有故事講啦。
You wake up the next morning on their old sofa, still warm from an excess of tea and cakes. There might have been
冇
little
血肉又點
cakes.
樣擠蛋糕入去咧？
Prodigious snoring rumbles in from the floor above you, and you quietly take
得
your
意啊！
leave.
呢個太陽，好中意呢個太陽。點樣先會有進展？哦，有車啊！我點樣搭便車啊？便車 Q 啊 ！Join me 唔得喎，佢唔理我，佢走咗啦。按住 Q 搭唔到啦，佢走咗。啊得喎，我坐到啦！耶！唔使自己行啊！但係點樣落車我唔識啊！新罕布集團，我哋入咗波士頓。哇！紅磚綠樹藍天，天公作美，波士頓顯得格外美麗。直到你深入城市，迷失在狹窄點讀遠庭陰森詭異嘅老街區。我哋可以探索去賺錢，火車站同埋商店哪有錢？探索下。
This city is like no other you've been to. Crooked streets splay out in a maze of narrow passages, no two alike. Soon, you find yourself in twilight, utterly lost. Bright light crests around one corner, a car approaching.
冇錢啊，繼續走啦，梗係。
Unable to afford rescue, you keep walking. The asphalt turns to crooked cobblestones that threaten to wrench your ankle out of place. Was this always a moonless night? The stars multiply, each one looking like a pinprick through which light is exiting the terrestrial world. It's hard finding your way through in pitch darkness. You go by touch and sound, feeling the scale of the streets by the echoing of your footsteps, fingers tracing the rough surface of the buildings. You quiet yourself, suddenly fearful. The clear sky tells you it's not thunder, but cannon fire. The city comes alive with fires and shouting. You find yourself trampled by a mob of men in thick brown coats, a phalanx of bayonets advancing up the street.
Whoa.
When you come to, there's no sign of the commotion, the war that you were just caught in. The comically shrill honk of a Model A running up the road startles you, and you crawl toward the sidewalk. Above, the sky is a sharp, cold, cloudless blue.
就探索完㗎啦。奇怪喧鬧，賺錢呢？揾工定係乞討？揾下先啦。冇人招工。我哋支持比利啦，感覺不錯。所有人都嚟，哦，我哋可以揾到工啦 ！I knew it。總而言之有錢啦，咁我咪有錢啦而家。喺火車站，我哋要花錢搭車。商店有啲咩？飲呢個湯有咩用？我都唔知我有幾多錢咯，by the way。 熱嘅蘋果酒有啲吸。我已經冇咗一半嘅錢啦，咁由佢啦。咦？我唔係買蘋果酒嘅咩？即係我已經用咗個錢，我買唔到威士忌啦。咁我哋 lift 咯。
A dusty truck and a man on horseback pull up next to one another in front of the grocer. Suddenly, the driver and the rider, two wiry old men with identical haircuts, start shrieking at one another. The man with the truck leaps into the street.
Brother!
He shouts. The one on the horse tumbles out of his saddle.
Brother!
He screams. They embrace in the road.
30 years!
Hollers the driver. The rider, tears streaming down over his face, corrects him.
No! 32!
Oh, wow.
Everyone here is watching these two older men cry and hug one another in the middle of Main Street. Cars and wagons are backing up. People are yelling.
Take a photo of us!
The driver begs you. Starts hauling a tripod out of the bed of his truck. The long-lost brothers pose in front of traffic. Cry snot pouring out of their noses. As angry passerby wave you out of the road, each brother presses a coin into your hand. When the traffic disperses, you realize they overpaid you quite a shocking amount.
哇！咁我哋賺咗好多錢，耶！咩標誌？但我睇埋呢度先，超大隻咯呢度。
As you walk along the river near an unfinished bridge, men with a tool belt catch a sight of you. Hey, over there!
Over there!
He calls out. You look like you could use a quick way to get some hard-earned money. Hard-earned is right. The bridge hangs high over a perilous drop.
係危險嘅工作，係幫佢哋整橋，但係佢會求其入一條友咁樣嘅咩？我係剔佢哋安全嗎？問
He laughs
梗係唔安全啦。
uproariously. Absolutely not. High above the water, you see raptors with enormous wingspans wheeling through the sky. We'll have little more protection than them, the man says.
有咩睇唔
But
到有
not much more. His eyes sparkle. He clearly loves this work. Great,
我哋一齊玩啦
he exclaims. Suppose you'll want a safety belt. We Thunderbird people don't need them. We fly when we fall. He chuckles.
fly when we fall.
You find yourself up high, looking over the rushing river that crashes around the foundation of the bridge. As you work side by side, the man mentions, You can see Thunderbirds up here if you know how to look.
要查
You ask him to explain.
如果
Practice your peripheral vision, if you dare. Last thing you need up here is for them to see you seeing them and come swooping at you,
你一啲獎
he
會撲
says
佢。
laughingly. You only see
Yeah?
the clouds thicken. It sure does pass the time
yeah.
working. The man pays you well when you're done with the job.
橋梁工作、建築工作，呢個咩嚟？我呢個咩標誌？咁啊，型嘅。一動不動。Hello。
Hey there, stranger. You're welcome to enjoy this fire with me, if you're respectful, that is. This here is my spot, and I ain't inclined to share it with any bad characters. You can call me Quinn.
Quinn。
These here are my venturing companions. Cass is the big one, and the one with the spots is Flip.
Cass is the big one. 呢個叫 Flip.
I usually beat my way on the rails, but the road news said this town was fat and the weather was fine. So I'm taking in the sights and seeing what I can drum up.
係咪小偷呢？
Hey, tell me one of those exciting stories.
我可以講咩故仔俾佢聽？愛情故事咧就會喚引佢嘅心情咯。夜晚嚟嘅時候咧，個圖標會左右轉。夜晚結束咧，即係呢度變咗日頭啦，中間呢度。咁你嘅故事都去到尾聲。社交同事話你知佢陣間會去邊咧，咁我就可以再唔到佢。求其所圖向住講故事咧，獲得信任，呢隻眼就會打開啦。完全打開嗰陣咧，咁佢就會向我哋敞開佢哋嘅心扉。有啲咩可以俾佢講啊？哦，我哋經過嘅咁多個故仔，就去講呢一個。呢個動物咧，都係佢係一個小男孩。講咩故仔俾佢聽好？但係呢個被暴露人嘅故事，呢個係第一個。同佢講呢個咯，因為佢係我哋第一個去到嘅營地。
Well, that was something. You spin a good yarn.
大少少隻眼，講得唔錯。
Authority, bosses and such. I ain't nobody's little Angelina, if that's what you're asking. I take care of myself and my dogs. I don't need no jocker looking out for me, so if you're offering, don't. Shoot, I thought I told you to be respectful. You want to keep enjoying my spot or not? Think about that. I want to hear one of them venturing tales. Got any?
有冇冒險故事咧？呢度呢個一條逃跑嘅故事啊！呢個建築工啦都幾冒險下。但係呢個咧，家庭旅行自由，可能呢個啊都幾冒險下。
Whoa, quite a story, stranger.
大咗啦隻眼。
Freedom.
Freedom.
Well, teacher used to talk about freedom like America was eat up with it, but the tramping kind seems to be just about the only real freedom still in supply. Ain't no freedom from an empty stomach or bad weather, unless you're rich.
佢都幾憤世嫉俗呢個小朋友。
I want to hear a story about ghosts or murderers or something. Scary stuff.
要恐怖嘅故仔。有冇啲恐怖啲嘅故仔啊？呢個咯，街頭鬧事嘅故事咯。呢個咧 ，Scary stuff。
You spin a good yarn. I was shivering there for a little bit.
隻眼好大嚟㗎。
Well, I don't know a whole lot about the past, but they say there's an Indian grave around these parts. Say it's haunted and full up with angry spirits.
有印第安人嘅，你後面已經係啦。
I used to love hearing stories of cowboys and Indians fighting it up. Would swap tales with the youngins. But, well, I suppose if someone shot me, I'd be pretty vengeful too. Hey, do you got any really thrilling stories to tell? I'm hankering for one of those.
但我都冇特別嘅故仔可以同你講，有嘅都講晒，我退出啦好唔好啊？我冇存貨啦我。
Oh, heck, the night's over already. I sure enjoyed talking to you, but I gotta get on. I think I'll see what's happening up the road this way.
呢個人好遠喎，佢會去，唔識讀呢個名啦我就。
The tramping life suits me just fine. Every day is a venture.
流浪嘅生活好適合我，每日都係冒險。我覺得幾勇敢嘅，即係呢啲流浪嘅生活係。
With things being so depressed, folks walk around like it's the end of everything good. But it ain't. Plenty nice things to see if you know where to look.
我覺得好啱啊呢個金句。如果你善於觀察咧，你會發現到周邊有好多靚嘅嘢。章節2而家可以用佢嘅冒險記。去邊咧？哎有車，過去咗啦，好啦，咧攞得啲故事啦，我哋去豐富我哋嘅傳播，同人分享。有隻烏鴉識講嘢，揾人有啲經驗，我講下。最不缺嘅就係人。佢就咁嘅咋，教我，唔使自己行太好啦，好治愈喎，我覺得。點解嘅？你掉低咗我啦？我都冇答幾耐。我算啦，睇睇。我啱啱上咗架車，然之後佢又掉低咗我，因為行得太慢啦，真係。咪住，好。New York。Let's go New York。有個小故事未講，呢個我都冇講過。聽故事，隻 game BGM 好悠閒，好正。打到風鈴早晨，係啊，佢 BGM 好好聽啊，同埋咧佢係全語音㗎，基本上，即係啲人講嘢嘅時候。你有冇聽過呢樣啊？街頭啲人打交嘅故事 ，Boston 係咪我哋啱啱嗰度？奇怪酸奶嘅故事，有人加甜加醋，你覺得係咪真事？當然係啦，真係好過癮。故事越講越長 ，OK。呢個咩啊？車牌號碼。
He leans against a fence and turns to face you as you pass him by. At his back is a bag full of bird seed. He assures you that the gawky birds perching on his body are the last remaining passenger pigeons.
They look extinct to you?
You're not sure those dull gray pigeons look anything like the pictures you've seen of passenger pigeons, though you can't help thinking they stare at you a little too intently.
Say, you like birds?
Sure.
They're lovely creatures. Guileless, really.
Hunted damn near to extinction, weren't you?
隻雀都幾命大喎。
He strokes one of his birds under the chin.
Sorry.
You sense it's about time you start moving on.
You be kind to the little birds now, you hear?
You hurry along the road, though the flapping of ungainly wings seems to follow you for hours.
養鴿人。我哋嚟到呢個城市啦，New York。點解冇中文嘅呢段？
The engines belch black smoke as the ferry churns gray water into froth. A broad-shouldered figure leans out over the rail, eyeing the skyscrapers on the horizon. Nearby, a man and a woman speak in low, urgent voices. He takes her wrist gently. She is weeping softly.
拗緊交定唔知咩，嗰女人喊緊，聽下先啦。
I wish you didn't have to go.
Oh,
She says.
There's got to be work on some of those buildings going up.
His thumb skates over her
離
pulse
開個城
point.
市唔通？
I checked every day for a week. There ain't. I'll be back, though. Got your picture in my wallet, don't I? It's not forever.
繼續聽。
Her words are split by a sob.
Might as well be. My parents didn't come to New York for this.
She leans against him, the
當知
wind
定咩？
tousling her hair.
咁
He
跟埋一
pulls
齊
her
搞
to
咩
his
啫？
chest.
I'm leaving because I gotta go. If there was another way.
They stand together, close, quiet.
我就咁就咋？因為失業而分手，夫婦添喎。哦，分手係指佢哋離開呢個地方嘅。點解要 cut 圖咧？我有錢，我去揾工。又係點解又係標嘅？今次我哋支持另一邊咯，因為我上次支持咗標啊嘛。嗯哼。但係即係咁，我哋都攞到錢。OK。Boston 商店鮮麵包圈幾開心喎！即係我唔知食咗有啲咩肉，麵包圈咯，真係香。咁咪好咯。你離開 New York 啦，佢轉得太快啦。
The man is the color of mill dust.
哦，麵
His
包師
smile
傅，
creases his face like folds
邀
in
請我哋
dough.
休息喎。
He gestures you inside
Oh,
the dilapidated structure and shouts over the sound of driving wheels.
You're welcome to sleep here. You don't want to rest by the river. Not in the evening. Insects.
The man shoves the broken door closed behind you.
瞓
The
咯
mill，is warm,
你應該唔會搶我哋
and
錢
the
嘅，
air
呢度
is
佢屋企
heavy
嚟
with
㗎
the
嘛。
powder kicked up by your entrance. You realize how easy it would be to drift off on this pile of sacks. Pain sears your spine.
哦，
Why did you sleep at this ridiculous angle? Your back complains from being
Morset?
draped over
係咪一個恐怖故事嚟㗎啦？
millstone. That's good the mill is totally abandoned. Its works long ago disconnected, or your legs would have been
啊，呢個係新
pulverized.
嘅故仔啦，恐怖故事嘅時
The
候，
man
恐怖的蘑菇。又係烏鴉啦，聽下佢故事咯。真實嘅故事，每個人都係自己命運嘅船長。三思要後勤，或者咩都唔好諗，就係我咯，咩都唔諗。原來骷髏骨佢會自己識行，我冇撳向前嘅，因為呢係 New York，已經係自動行路嘅喎，耶！我淨係負責轉方向，前面仲有廢城，又係烏鴉，火車。上咗空嘅車廂，如果我哋俾佢捉到，就會捱打。冇翅膀之後摩打，烏鴉係咁同我哋傾偈。下次如果見到火車，我哋可以試下，因為冇乜錢。
The stream is a clear, reflective shade of blue, unusual in this region
Wow.
where bog iron colors the river's brown.
都係恐怖故事。
Across the way, a goat with great leather wings laps up the water, its sunken red eyes fixed on your every movement. You now notice the unnatural absence of wildlife. No fish swim in the stream. No birds sing in the trees. The winged goat drinks with a forked tongue, only abstractly concerned with your presence. You cup the water in your hands, ice cold somehow, and take a swallow, soothing the coarseness in your parched throat. Clear as the water is, the stream bed isn't visible. Even straight down. Your feet don't reach the bottom, so you float in the cool water, feeling washed clean. The ripples flow as far as you can see, never fading. The winged goat snorts and heads in the other direction.
Oh, cute.
Low tide on a moonless night. This beach is long, stretching toward a receding sea. In the darkness, the sand seems coarse and gray, alien. The stars are dim and distant.
我會暗大家瞓落呢個故事，因為佢講嘢又慢啦，個 BGM 又好舒服啦。
It outshines the stars with its presence, a streak of sickly-colored light, leaving a trail of distorted fire. It slowly creeps along the sky like a vast worm, though you know that, given the distance, it must be moving at great speed.
喺海定睇天空？睇下個海。
There,
有人喎。
near the water's edge, a human figure. They stand there, transfixed by the light. 1, 2, 3 steps, ankles lowering into the surf. Silent collapse into a black wave, bathed in a nameless color. Then, nothing. Outside the small thicket of apple trees, the phrase "tended to by John Chapman" is carved into a fence post. Nearby, a hound lies on its side, perfectly still. Flies buzz around its ears. But a grizzled man pauses at his digging to shoo them off. You settle in beneath a fence post and brush a couple of flies from the dog's face. The man nods. Much obliged. He kept me company when I moved from orchard to orchard, but he breaks off. For a while, the only sound is the shink of the shovel in the dirt. He's a stray. I gave him some scraps one day while I was selling trees, and he just followed me after that. He tells you stories as he digs, about his travels, about planting apple trees. Every so often, he turns to look at the still figure lying by the fence. He shakes his head. Nearly there. When the hole is deep enough, he lowers the dog reverently into the grave. I'll see him again in heaven, he tells you. His soul is bound to mine. I don't think I can bear to stay here, though. Maybe I'll set out again.
好難轉彎嘅。好難控制，我要故事喺度啦。眼神鋒利嘅男人，滑長嘅雷鳥人，你聽過？我中意外版本多啲，我會一直咁樣講落去。哦，有新嘅 version 係似嗰個打工。我哋喺爬火車，我都唔知去邊，唔識讀㗎嘛，咁總之爬啦。有盞燈跳咗落嚟，哦，跟住佢就打我哋啦。係，我以為第一次會好運啲添。我而家嘅血要回血㗎，所以我哋需要揾嘢食。骷髏骨都要俾人打，一骷髏骨。
By nightfall, the hospitality of this sleepy hamlet, combined with their superstitious tales, has both overstuffed your stomach and filled you with a hollow dread. Folks say these woods are full of apparitions, witches, and worse. You in the moonlight, every valley and hollow at the feet of the Tappan Zee seems like a stolen shred of the abyss itself. Fireside tales seem less fanciful, and every cackling crow and moaning whippoorwill seems like a demon perched on the shivering, spindly trees. But something cuts through the noise. The muffled sound of hooves galloping on the cold, muddy road. When he finally slows his horse alongside you, it's as though he had just appeared out of the mist. He's astride a gigantic black courser, and though his boots are muddy and ragged, he wears an immaculate coat with great, shining buttons. From his saddle hangs an antiquated flintlock and a cavalry saber. In the darkness, you can hardly see above his towering shoulders. His voice is a rumbling croak, deep, but as though his throat is filled with thorns. Have you happened upon a cannonball around here? You can tell English isn't his first language. German is. His hand, so pale it's almost blue in the moonlight, grips the reins in a fist.
我哋要搭舞定係跑啊？呢一次睇下有冇人復先。看一下。一啊，冇，好啊。
You mumble an apology and watch as he silently rides away back into the mist. He's cloaked in black, you notice from behind, but the blood running down over his shoulders glints crimson in the moonlight.
我而家有幾多分？我可以睇我幾多次？唔係我食完嗰啲嘢都仲未關佢。
Muddling through the dark, you stumble into the path of the white deer. Its beauty strikes you at once. It is something otherworldly, beyond borders. A moon swimming in the void. Human shouts not far away break the spell. The deer's ears prick up. This thing is being hunted. You know a way out of here. As the hunter's cries get louder, you approach the deer carefully, palms outstretched. As you grow close, your features become clearer in the light of the deer's aura. It bolts into the path of an oncoming train.
唔喐啦，生命值咁低，呢圖呢啲標誌全部都係我哋遇過嘅嘢咯。哦，呢可以揾到 unseen story 喎，幫埋 money。顯示錢就得返一半，仲有啲咩可以撳？物品係 I， 地圖係 M， 我喺度，其他都冇啦。煲法。女賊同埋條子回槍戰，哦，呢個係佢哋賣私酒被捕嘅女仔，已經修飾過，但係一個好故事。
You come across a girl picking wild blueberries. She smiles and greets you.
Anin.
Anin.
She offers you some from her birch bark basket.
Thank you.
You reach in the basket for blueberries, but pull out a handful of small, smooth stones, all the colors of the rainbow. The snickering girl runs into the trees as fast and light as a rabbit. The stones tumble from your hand and hit the ground, instantly turning black as the night. Your heart leaps in surprise. How strange.
又係恐怖故仔，咁多個恐怖故仔。
The hotel is an old manor house that's seen better days. A grand structure surmounted by a gambrel roof that dwarfs the house itself.
全部都唔係人嚟嘅。
It's eerily still,
會唔會係
but
咁？
for two boys at play. Each one so small and light, they barely leave tracks in the deep snow. They seem old for their size, around 10 years old. Though their clothes are mismatched, they're perfectly identical, down to the pattern of freckles on their pale cheeks. They conduct their games in eerie silence. The clerk behind the counter is old, and your room key is worn. But night approaches, and the price is low. Just before you shut the room door, there they are, the twins, staring at you from the corridor. In the morning, as you leave, the clerk asks, "Did you sleep well?"
講出真相就會應該有故事咯，我覺得。
Too tired to lie.
係冇小朋友
You tell
啊
them。about the noise outside your door.
都話㗎
The
啦
trampling of small
一估一估
feet
到
on the corridor outside. The dreams disturbed with violent and hideous images. "That's odd," he says, weak-eyed. "There are no children staying with us."
琴日嘅聲效。咦？ 我要去邊？我而家又冇錢啦，又冇血啦，我會唔會死㗎？有冇車俾我搭？喂，咁遠嘅，呢邊都有條路。踩落啲海度，得嘅喎。點解會冇車嘅？遊閒玩家就係我。
First, shrill and close. Then you see him, high up above the black streaks of wires.
Wow.
A lineman, fraying belt, holding him to the pole. The damned bird has come to perch on the power line, stare hungrily at the man's soul. He's unsteady. His hands are shaky. And his body sways in the wind. You spot his tool bag next to the pole, worn and frayed, much like the man. A half-gone bottle of cheap rye pokes out of it. What's he gonna do? Come down from the pole? You snatch it from his bag in one quick motion and walk away. Hey! He starts. But whatever he's about to say slips into a slurred whine as his belt snaps. His body plummets, and his limbs go slack with the understanding of what is happening to him. He tumbles into the tall, dry grass by the side of the road with a muffled noise. All you hear is the call of the whippoorwill. Eager, loud. Thankful.
OMG！ 喂，但附近好似冇故事喎，點睇？而家又日頭啦。呢度係咪唔行得㗎？我哋去返城市啦，一係。有冇車喎？前面有城市啦。OK 佢啲歌，黑靈嘅。其實水係行得㗎 ，It's so funny。
A few wanderers like you are looking for a place to camp.
We heard there's a Leatherman cave nearby.
They tell you. They describe a locally famous vagrant who hiked this area for almost 30 years.
He's dead now, but his caves are the best place to camp at any town.
Wow.
You and the other wanderers find the cave easily, because someone's lit a fire there. As you approach, you see a silhouette bend over the flames with an odd, creaking sound, like a door swinging in the wind. His coat is crudely stitched from leather plates that squeak against each other.
The
Leatherman, one of the others whispers. A ghost. The Leatherman must have heard, but he just stares. His face. He's eating, you say, and point out his can of beans.
Je ne suis pas un fantôme,
the Leatherman says, and adds,
Idiot.
Oh, bursts your companion. Soon, he and the Leatherman are deep in conversation, and your group has a safe place to rest.
Yeah.
His clothes are expensive, but unkempt. A tailored jacket stretched and warped out of its best fit by long days on the road. His thinning frame weighs down the boxcar next to yours. You got a light, friend? You offer a match, which bends and nearly snaps as he scratches it against the pitted iron edge of the boxcar. Thanks, he mumbles, perching one last cigarette on his lip. Don't rightly know where I'm going. You notice how deeply wrinkled his clothes are. It's as though a huge hand plucked him from a high society party and crumpled him up like a sheet of paper. Don't rightly know how I got going either. They built a railway just past Missy Hudson's estate. Damned racket ruined our soiree. Might have been a few bottles of Armagnac too many when I walked down the tracks to tell them to keep it quiet. He dragged. The edge of summer has turned the ocean choppy and misanthropic, and the skies miserably gray. The boardwalk prophetess lured you into her tent with a promise to read a fortune for free. Seems like business has slowed to a crawl already. Before you lie the instruments of her profession. There's tarot cards, Rider-Waite, but also Marseille for traditionalists, rosary beads and costume jewelry, and of course, the centerpiece, a great glass globe. With practiced theatricality, she goes directly for the crystal ball, letting her eyes unfocus as though she can see a great distance into it. She brings up names, places, asks if you've known someone called John, if you have a relative in Newark. You'll latch on to what she says, and together you dance towards some insights about your romantic prospects. It's relieving to meet an honest charlatan instead of the ghouls and ghasts of the road. Your eyes, she says, her voice suddenly drained of the bassy drama that was her stock in trade. You've met him. You've seen him, too. You carry him with you. The words that come out of your mouth are not your own. They seem unwilling or unable to form properly out of a human throat. They're more like snarls, warning noises of a vicious animal. The glass globe shatters. Your vision is hazy, and your body is not your own. You came far to get away from me, the voice lodged inside you says. But this one has a way of wandering. The fortune teller has collapsed, cowering. Consider your debt to me repaid. When you come to your senses, you're lying face down on the rough wood of the boardwalk, sore and weak. An empty patch of wood, cleaner than the surrounding planks, is all that remains of the fortune teller's tent.
近好似冇，真係要一直向前行。冇乜地方又冇車，第一個漫無目的好啱深夜台喎呢個嘢。啱晒唔使用腦嘅我。有屋但冇門，可唔可以衝入？得。呢條路冇嘢嘅咧，係咪掘頭啊啦？可唔可以穿越呢度？係行到路，但係呢度係盡頭啦，哈哈。我哋離開呢邊，我哋應該要去遠啲。我都唔知我點解會去咗咁遠，啊好攰啊！呢個地圖喐得，我要點樣行？哦，好大喎！我喺嗰頭啫。漫無目的地，如果有車就好咯。冇車又冇錢。I will be very happy. 暈好得意，會唔會死嘅？到底呢個主角多得啦，好似未嚟過。This land and by I'll see them for in long. Cause when the night come down for to take me hand in hand, this will be my tale, my vagrant song. This will be my tale. 有車啊！my vagrant song. 喂，坐，我要坐啊！睇住，真係好難控制喎。喂，咁難控制嘅，係咯 ，WASD 啊，啱啊，但我搭唔到架車喎。好難控制，是但我自己都行對波士頓。因為有車，我仲可唔可以搭到火車啫？咪我兩個都去咗咯喎，冇錢咯喎，我哋使晒啲錢去好咯。OK， 使晒啦，所有錢都。咪住，呢個方向係邊度去邊度？好難控制嘅媽咪。去波士頓啦，去咗啦。我哋想搭車走，雖然冇錢。你點解我咁快遠離咗呢度嘅？ 度就幾好玩喎，咁樣就可以行快啲。我哋去紐約，可唔可以賺錢啊？唔得喎，咁我冇錢啊！好迷啊，我係冇乜方向感。哦，要車就係。喺呢度。架車載我喎。咁即係費城，我都去過未？我真係冇乜印象呢度。架車啊！載我，
The women are oblivious to your approach. Their eyes are shut. Their touch, where they hold hands, is gentle. They speak in low tones. One stifles a burst of laughter, but it brings a smile to their faces. Sorry, says the one who laughed. Don't be, another assures her. They don't look up. The branch snaps beneath you. The youngest jerks her eyes open and snatches her hands free from the circle. It's all right. He isn't coming back, soothes the eldest. She turns to you. You could join us, if you've got something you're grateful for. Your words go unremarked. The youngest, holding your right hand, takes her turn. And we give thanks for those who left, who we wanted gone, for the skills to thrive without them, and for the companions who make the effort joyful. Your hands are released. The ceremony is over.
祈禱的評論。俾我上車啊！咩？係咪要前解啊？哦，爬火車又係爬咯，睇下會唔會又俾人打，跟住就會唔會死咧？我唔識落車其實。哦，成功溜出車站，俾人睇啊！唔識睇嚟。呢個咩城？呢個咪紐約咯。我對於呢度個地理真係唔熟悉。俾我上車唔該。行路模擬器而家變咗。俾我上車。點樣先可以去遠啲啊？我要向呢邊行，行緊啦，照呢條路行緊，吹下口哨咯。喂，俾我上車唔該，唔該你。係我 起得唔啱定係佢哋真係唔想俾我上聽？真係唔知。我呢街啊，得啦 ，Let's go！ 寂寞啊，咁樣行法。佢喺邊度掟俾我咧？唔知。賓食飯。但我會一直咁樣搭落，都好似哇，好大片土地，超 relax， 有冇治愈嘅感覺？雖然睇咗好多恐怖故事。係好適合靜心落嚟聽嘅故事。哦，我去咗印第安納，我都唔知我去邊，不過是但。都食又唔同啦。我當時去咗好遠喎。我啱啱個地圖係呢度呢個位，因為我而家去咗呢度。佢冇乜故事。冇咗嘅一個車站，最近喺呢邊啊！太好聽了吧！
Deep in the fields, you come across a group of young men clearing weeds and sod from a roadside plot. Pitchforks flying, weeds dying. You almost don't notice that the dark lump beside them is a dozing boy, lying smack dab in the middle of their work. There's an odd frenzy to the way these boys are ripping the sod apart. When they notice you approaching, they jog over and stand silently between you and their sleeping comrade. The youths share nervous looks. The oldest steps forward.
Get going,
he blurts, leveling a pitchfork at your gut. His hand, you step closer, and the ringleader loses his nerve. He died, he blurts. He was sweating and crying and he just fell over. They won't come get us with the truck till sundown. You realize now that the sleeper's been posed. The ashy shadow on his face wasn't cast by a tree. The rain is coming down so hard, it's a wonder the sidewalk hasn't started to crack. You manage a squat man bundled up in a black fur coat and matching hat approaches. The thick rain flattens and mats his fur. He squints up at you.
You're in my spot,
he crows. He thanks you as you step aside, back into the rain. You keep walking, hoping to find more shelter. Now that you see the man from a distance, you're not sure the fur is a coat. A pair of red eyes shine back at you. The rain stops a minute later. You look back up the road. But the squat man is gone.
如果我哋講大話會點啊？會又俾人再打，跟住再死。有啲好奇會唔會死？點睇？裁縫機。如果唔舉手咧，今日冇抹光。但係咁樣就冇得賺錢啦，冇錢咯喎！但係睇得率太大啦個地圖，同埋用呢個滑鼠太過攰啦。邊度咧？如果去到下一個城市是有黑火。
The girl tilts her basket away to hide whatever's inside.
You want to see what I got? I'm not telling.
She raises her eyebrows, encouraging you to pry further. This girl is either very confident or too young to know shyness.
Too young to know shyness.
Got you hooked. Too easy.
She twists her lips to one side, mimicking a more adult, thoughtful gesture.
I'll tell you what. I'll show you what's in the basket if you do something for me. Excellent.
Wow!
I want you to kill my mother.
She looks to check your attention, then points to a figure working at the other end of the field.
She's boring. She keeps making me work when I want to play.
The girl bursts into peals of laughter. She doubles over the basket, laughing so hard she's barely able to stand. When she can speak again, she says,
You should have seen your face. You really should.
She beckons you over, shows you her basket. 3 kittens snuggle up at the bottom. They're barely old enough to open their eyes.
Ma gave them to me for being good. I've called them Badb, Matcha, and Anand. After a story Nana told me.
She preens.
I'm very clever, you know.
I don't know.
The barn and silo have seen better days. One big storm might bring the whole structure down. The man hollers.
Ken? Ken? I know you're here, boy.
Ken.
He sees you and lopes across the field toward you.
You seen a boy around? About 14?
No.
He sighs.
My boy is missing. I haven't seen him since last night.
He swallows.
He ain't the type to run off, neither. Can you spare a minute to help look? I'm worried sick.
You climb the ladder and make your way across the roof.
A
trail of empty beer bottles leads you past a discarded shirt and to the base of the silo. You climb up. There's a hole in the silo roof, a rupture where rotten wood gave way under something large. You maneuver your way along the edge, keeping your weight off the rotted panels. You poke your head inside. He's there, half submerged in the grain.
Oh my god.
He's been dead for half a day at least. The man's waiting at the bottom of the barn ladder.
Anything?
There's a spark of hope in his eyes.
He
chokes back a sob.
I told him not to go up there. I told him.
He looks up at the tower, then turns to you, tears tracking down his grimy cheeks.
Why didn't he listen?
Oh. 我終於停咗喺度。我去邊度咧 ？Unseen Story， 好遠有一個，行咯，當然都嚟咗咯。而家冇自動排嘅。喺呢邊。
She's getting married.
Wow, 士兵。
The soldier tells you. The two of you observe the church from the dusty road, straining to hear the faint joy of the ceremony transpiring within. I fought for 10 years to come home because she said she'd be here, waiting for me. And look, can you believe it?
Can you believe it? 但係佢結婚咯喎，咁其實唔係，但係其實打仗唔係應該所有嘅年齡適當嘅男人都係嘅咩？即係古代，佢話佢會等，結果就嫁出去，好定唔好，不同好，大家等待已久嘅愛情故事。
So what am I supposed to do? What does she expect? That I should throw myself from the nearest cliff? Walk into the ocean? He snorts, sets off down the road. He seems surprised to see you a few steps behind. No, he says. Where I'm going, you can't come.
BGM 咁開心嚟㗎，翻鄉下先知戀人已經嫁出去嘅事蹟，係慘嘅。係啊 ，BGM 咁開心有啲鉗咯。之後會唔會再遇到咧？唔知。遊戲係要慢玩，慢慢落去呢度有3架車，其實因為我唔識地理啦，唔知係咪啱嘅咧？呢啲啊又冇咗啦個車站。如果我趕得上嘅話，因為去親佢都會消失㗎。道路。
The man lowers his paper as you come near. His weather-beaten face is drawn.
Oh.
They say it's spreading. The dust is strangling the land. Half my cattle suffocated in the last storm. We cut open the carcasses to salvage the meat. they were filled with mud.
即係嗰啲動物咧被塞滿咗泥土，咁但係啲肉都應該仲用得㗎，即係個土係泥土啫嘛。
He licks his cracked lips. They stay dry. His land is dying. If the harvest fails again, people will too. You look past him, over his dust-choked fields. You can't imagine anything growing here. Where would we go? My family came here for a fresh start. All we have is our claim. His voice is hoarse. We came here when there was no more work back home. Now this. If we leave, it'll just be something else. Your skin prickles gently, though the sky is still clear.
BGM 細聲啲啊
Duster's on its
我再 tune 細聲啲
way. Big one. He calls after you. Come by in a week. I doubt there'll be a building left standing.
好，我哋可以攞我哋嘅故事去營地啦，攞多一個再營地，再細聲啲。咁樣咯，可以搶咗主題。咦，教到細喎。
You've seen migrant camps before, and they tend to look like the town dump. This one, though, on a good day, this could pass for a town. Starched white tents stand tall and many, and the stroll through the grounds finds you neither trash nor trouble. You hear some chatter from a large tent on your left. On your right, a tent in the shadow of the trees emanates a soft buzz. A bespectacled man reads from a black binder to an audience of about 24 migrants. At this time, he says, Mr. Martin vacated the chair in favor of new chairman, Mr. London. Mr. Lake was elected vice chairman. Mr. Lake was elected chairman of the Finance Committee. Mr. Horner and Miss Clive were the other members on the Finance Committee. Mr. Lake gave an instructive talk on the total collection for the month, $143. The speaker pauses to turn the page.
嚇？係咯，異常乾淨。好，我哋嚟到營地，收集到好多故事啦，應該。
Why, hello there. Look like that's a heavy bag you're carrying. Let me get that for you. I insist.
呢個晚面 BGM 冇問題，聲音特別響呢個。
You see this uniform? It means you can trust me to make sure this is the most comfortable journey you've ever had in your life. Who am I? Well, I'm no George, I'll tell you that. But that's not important. This trip is about you, friend. Tell me something that'll make me laugh. I could use a chuckle.
有冇啲咩有趣 ？Make me laugh。呢個都應該有趣，我覺得。呢全部都係恐怖故仔嚟。啊，呢個係感人嘅。洞穴。呢個咧？權威。回憶。呢個咧？呢個應該有趣嘛？家庭愛。有趣嘅故事，make you laugh。 樂事咯呢個。
I'll keep this story in my pocket for sure. It'll make some passenger laugh. Joy.
Joy.
A good porter always finds his own happiness in the joy he brings to passengers through good work. You know what we call this job? Miles of smiles, friend. Miles of smiles.
Miles of smiles. 英文嘅實。
Hey, do you know any spooky stories I can share with the boys tonight?
恐怖故事大把，太多恐怖故事啦呢度。怪石頭咯，恐唔恐怖？恐怖魔方都幾恐怖㗎。尋日嘅雙胞胎。紅毛怪咯。
Damn, that's a good one. If you got any more like that, you should write them down. Worrying about luck? Well, a porter is as reliable as any piece of machinery that makes sure this train runs on schedule. So there's no need to worry about something like luck. You seem like you've seen a few spooky things in your time. Want to share any?
恐怖嘢大把，魔方嘅古仔咧就，就係呢個，呢個都死亡，呢個超恐怖。
Whoa, you're giving me some good material. My brothers will love that one. The past, that's a tricky thing. Yes, porters may remind you of a certain type of way folks of our type used to be. There's no fight in that, just happily working past it. Have any optimistic tales? I'd like to hear one of those.
積極嘅故事就梗係重逢啦，係咪？有冇更好多睇下？我覺得呢個好唔積極。狗狗嘅故事，重逢嘅故事啦就。
Just like I told you, friend, miles of smiles. If you're looking for family, you know why a porter can treat a passenger better than anyone else? Because when you step on this train, you're family. It doesn't matter who you were before or who you're going to be after you step off. You seem like you've seen a few spooky things in your time. Want to share it? Another night over. I surely did enjoy all those stories, though. Maybe next time I'll let down my hair a bit. What do you say? You must excuse me, friend. What kind of porter am I saying this trip is all about you, only to start talking about my own damn self? But enough of my indulgences. I hope I see you again.
黃色嘅劇可能唔會再見。好難黑有啲。哦，佢喺度。如果我哋再遇見佢多一次，就應該可以攞到佢嘅故事。行咗個步。行。佢唔會同我講我嘅方向去邊。咦？唔係，我上面係水喎，所以應該向下行先啱。向緊呢邊啊，原來鏟過去。可能冇，可能冇。 會唔會好悶啊？今日嘅直播就係不停收集故事，然之後不停講故事咯。但我覺得個路程有啲遠嘅係。離奇故事啊，麻方嘅故事嘅，我有新進展啦。
Surrounded by fields of corn and rye,
有一個農
a small farm lies fallow. Its tiny stable crumbles into disrepair,
會唔會悶呢？
and foxtails
但我覺得可
sprout
能
from
係
its
真係要再
fields.
夜啲個 tension 先至啱咯。
Inside, the sunlight filtering in through two small windows turns to hazy gray shafts in the thick dust that blankets the interior. There's not much in the way of furniture, but on a rustic kitchen table, a handwritten note catches your eye. Never opened.
又唔會話去到封印呢隻 game 嘅，但係會可能轉個時間先話。
It's addressed to Martha and unsigned. Her name is written in the stiff letters of a man for whom literacy is more a formality than habit.
但係冇理由個個 game 都係解謎啊嘛，咁要試下唔同嘅。
If you find this, I'm already gone. Don't come looking for me. The rest is scratchy spirals and circles of halfway readable writing about the noises from the cellar and the hunger and the darkness. The door is unlatched. The ground below is deeply stained with some dark residue you can't identify. Upon it, only ancient piles of chains and manacles, slowly turning to rust.
咩嚟㗎？已經擊撥嘅故事有33個。哦，有16個人，佢就要遇到嗰16個人。呢個係個輕鬆遊戲，都係咁唔 heavy 嘅。
Ride with us a little while, stranger. It's a kind offer. Miles of dusty road through the rolling prairies have recast this landscape as an exhausting soup of wind and misery. There are 4 of them on the wagon.
好慢
A perfect nuclear family.
行得好慢。
Mother, father, son, daughter, and a small fuzzy terrier trailing behind. But the pace of their movement is glacial. The draft horse ambles forward, one agonizingly slow step at a time.
Ain't no point rushing to get where we're going.
The wooden cart shivers with every pebble on the road that its wheels must laboriously traverse. The girl in the back pipes up.
The going's the point, see?
輕鬆旅遊
Time stretches wearily. The father sometimes makes half-inch adjustments to the horse's trajectory, keeping him from ambling off the road. There is some intimation that they are heading for Oregon, but at no point is it mentioned when they might arrive.
佢呢個故仔唔係呢個 game 仲節奏慢過，真係我帶大家旅遊嗰隻 game。嗰個都仲節奏快啲。水爐，我出去食字賺啲錢。誒，前面有多個營地喎，辛辛那提。
The corridors of Cincinnati's music hall reverberate with the sounds of an orchestra warming up for rehearsal.
If we unbolt the light rig, we can crush them,
says a voice up ahead. No, another answers. Hiding Baldy's baton will be sufficient to stop the din. The tuxedoed men are slightly transparent. Mustachio on the right has his arms folded. The weaselly one on the left scowls. They start at your arrival.
I'm gonna undo those bolts.
Weasel feature vanishes into thin air.
Damn it all,
says the other man.
We used to be members of the orchestra until, well, you know. Patrick doesn't care for the new blood. It seems like talent died with us. So he does his damnedest to stop them playing. But I can't allow violence against fellow artists. Help me stop him. With the right tool, you can banish them from the hall. You see, no spirit can stand the sound of the purest of all instruments. No. No. No.
He shakes his head, exasperated.
No.
No.
Triangle. The orchestra has one, but the percussionist a sop. He never hits it right. If you can get there, you can ensure the only thing brutalized here today is Chopin.
The orchestra is midway through practice. They're in dire need of it. The percussionist dozes on his stool. Everyone's oblivious to the muttering from the lighting rig. You sprint down the aisle and elbow through the incensed musicians. The percussionist falls off his stool as you clamber over his xylophone. You grab the beater and bring it down onto the triangle, eliciting a pure, resounding note. The rafters ring with laughter. The mustachioed ghost appears next to you, doubled over, invisible to the furious orchestra.
I never thought you'd fall for that. The triangle, for God's sake.
So funny.
Thanks for shutting them up, though.
搗亂啊！我哋去咗，我今日塗黑啦，不如就，哇！恭喜晒，耶！有錢啊！我哋滿啊，我哋可以買嘢食啦，耶！但係嘢飲咯 ，Oh my god！ 我要補心心，補翻下個心心，但係又冇錢啊！咁邊度都去唔到。 咁我哋離開。佢哋嘅父母喺度拗交，啲小朋友好尷尬。年輕嘅女巫同埋佢嘅小貓密友，佢講得幾好。 因為我哋有新 version， 我哋去見啊呢個人，呢個係上次嗰個人，我好似冇乜新故仔俾佢，雖然。黃昏列車之名。
It's a funny thing, someone looking right through you. But don't lie to me, friend. I know you want to know the truth, what it really means to be a porter.
佢個口音都好有趣。
Well, I can tell you it's more than making white folks happy. That's just how it's supposed to look. But you go on so long being how you're supposed to, you're not quite sure how to go back to what you are. Though I suppose I can give it a try. You got any stories with a bit of excitement?
身份人生嘅故事係咩啊？用過啦。身份人生嘅故事。 呢個振唔振奮人心？冇乜新故仔啊！ 呢個咧係一個好好嘅冒險。
Story on the radio? You told it better though. Freedom. That's what the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters is about. Getting our freedom.
Freedom.
Some folks in this country ain't too fond of unions, socialism, or anything that's got them scared somebody's gonna grab what's theirs. And they're especially ornery when it's black folks organizing their labor. They think there's not enough freedom to go around. I guess we'll find out. You got any stories with a bit of excitement to them?
哇！我冇乜振奮人心嘅故事喎。狗狗嘅故事振唔振奮人心？振奮人心嘅故事。呢個咧？ 用晒我啲存貨。
So, does that one scare you? Not sure about me. Oh, love. Yeah. Porters like to spread news amongst ourselves. And nothing is more newsworthy than a phone number a pretty little Piola just happened to leave behind. Don't tell anybody, but that's how I met my last girl in Harlem. Have any optimistic tales?
好冇喎。
I'd like to hear one of those.
我全部嘅故事都好唔積極。 積極的我，旅行積唔積極啊？呢個咧，
That one will probably ruin the mood if I share it in our quarters.
唔積極咩？狗狗嘅故事。
I've heard some porters say that even up in heaven, we're gonna be the ones making the beds, shining the shoes, and cleaning the corners. I believe it.
啊！
Anyway, I'm in the mood for a good happy story. You got any?
我有冇 happy story 啊？好似我全部故事都係唔開心嘅，都冇啦，我冇啊。I don't have hope. Do I have some? 有冇希望啊
I'm not sure I get it, friend.
？Oh my god， 失敗
It's hard to have faith in a person if you never really know him. And let me tell you, it's hard to really know a porter. At least to know more than what he wants you to know. You can let him completely into your life, and he'll keep you in the dark about his.
咁你而家咪係咯，本身開大咗隻眼噶嘛。
Have any optimistic tales?
冇啦，拜拜啦，拜拜啦。
Whew, another night over.
你都冇
Not
講
sure
你
I
嘅故
understood
事。
all your stories, but I hope you understood mine. I've got to be going. The next leg of my trip takes me along the rails this way. Where are you headed?
拜拜。
If we cross paths again, I'd like to tell you more of the truth about what it's like to be a porter and what it's like to be in the Brotherhood. Keep an eye out for me, all right?
拜拜。用晒我啲存貨，但係唔啱用。
Stacks of suitcases grind the parked Model A deeper into the dirt. An extended family inside defies the carrying capacity of the vehicle. The driver leans out the window. Want this? He swings a violin around by its neck. 10 bits. We need it for gas.
唔想再見
You
到
hear a
你。
muffled pounding from somewhere within
用
the
晒我啲
car.
存貨啦。
6 bits then. We need it for gas. The pounding becomes frantic.
我有錢咩？我唔係為咗保
The
值用
back
晒
door
咁滯
breaks
嘅咩
open, and a girl crawls over the laps of dusty bodies.
Don't you dare!
Don't
That
you
belongs
dare.
to Louise Ames!
She shouts at you.
Louise Ames!
She's dragged back into the writhing nest of limbs, and the door slams shut.
如果你哋冇買
On
到
your
車
way,
啊，
the driver tells you.
其實好慢啊，呢個係因為印第安嘅事。哦，蘋果園啊，同佢嘅狗狗嘅故事有新進展。
The storm swept in just before sundown,
好恐怖喎！
heralded by purple sky and electricity in the air. He sought shelter alongside a grizzled farmer. All he can do is pace, muttering to himself. Can't just stay here. You catch. Gotta find her. He looks up at
佢個女仔喺路上。
My daughter was out down the road. He balls his fists. God,
動漫嗰啲爆炸，然之後衝出去
He
嘅
hauls
時候。
open the door, shielding his face from the fierce dust. He runs out into the storm. The dust scours your skin, and razor winds whip at your clothing. You struggle for breath. The maelstrom has turned the world murky red. You don't see the farmer. You press on through the storm. You see the farmer up ahead. He's on his knees. A great, dark shape made from swirling dust.
會唔會飛走咗喺呢個樹坡度
You manage no more than a cough.
？Run！
The dust thing engulfs the man in his body. The storm whips faster. You can't breathe. You have to get back to shelter. You make it to safety, but don't manage any sleep.
佢冇啦。
Storm settles in the early
好冇希
hours.
望啊！而家啲故仔
You
全部
find the
都
farmer laid out in the street, his corpse a shriveled mass. He has
少一半粒心。我哋再爬火車俾人打就應該會去世。呢個咩嚟㗎？導航。我哋可以導航。耶！好大啊個地圖。我哋喺呢邊就係應該。邊好咧？睇下有冇車載我咧？我諗今日預計車太遲啦，應該。我諗今日應該都係。睇下去冇啲第二度啦，跟住就完今日嘅旅程。乜佢唔理我喎？呢架車係幾正喺路上睇下佢會唔會搭載我？火車。用神界結束都得嘅，可以啊！睇我哋去邊度停低我哋今日嘅旅程，好 relax 嘅今次，但係啲故事就冇我好中意嘅故事咯，暫時。我以為會遇到啲更加驚心動魄嘅，但係好多恐怖故仔咁簡單咯，淨係咁樣叫我帶大家旅遊開心啲。
From the windows of the store, you can hear a radio, turned all the way up, tuned to the Grand Ole Opry show being played across town. Two young girls sit outside listening to the music. Suddenly, it cuts off, and they howl in protest.
真係好催眠啊！呢個故事。
The place is dark and empty. There's certainly no radio to be seen.
全部都恐怖故仔咁滯。
Just a lot of
30幾個故事之中，
marked where the furniture used
大
to
部分
stand.
都係恐怖故事。
Footprints of old memories. When you turn around, the children have left.
好多時候佢講嘢又聽唔到佢問緊啲咩，鬧鬼音樂商店。今日乞討定揾工作啊？俾你揀啊！我哋今日嘅最後一個城市。右邊揾工，睇今次揾咩工 ？Oh, nobody want us。一班被拒絕嘅工人。哦，冇人請啊！我哋咁冇啦，食埋個三文治就冇錢啦。呢個邊個嚟㗎？識唔識啊？啊！呢個係嗰個流浪嗰個小朋友。係，可唔可以同佢傾下偈咧？阿爾西亞，唔係喎，呢個新人嚟喎。
I wanted to be the best blues singer in the world. By God, I was. I was born a poor girl in Memphis, Tennessee. No father. He run out. No mama either. She was there, but she weren't there really. All alone but for my Uncle Richard, my baby brother Marcus. All alone but for the guitar. Tell me a story to make me laugh. I could use a chuckle.
冇開心故事啊！ What do you want to hear？ 樂事咯。
Ain't that a chuckle?
誒，開咗半隻啊！
Joy. One thing that brought me joy. My Uncle Richard. Ooh, he plucked those strings like Jesus himself was in his body. Nothing in the world like that sound. Tell me a story to make me laugh. I could use a chuckle.
好似冇啦噃，好似遊記嘅故事，悲傷嘅喎，好似係。Love 家庭 Joy 啊，有趣嘅故事。呢個咯，又係 freedom 咯。呢個咧，呢個有唔有趣？
That's a mighty sad.
啊，唔開心喎呢個故事。
Oh yeah, I felt freedom. There's nothing like the feeling when you sing and your soul leaves your body. Ooh, I'm in the mood for a story with a bit of that tragedy to it.
大把悲劇故事，夠 tragedy 啦啩呢個小朋友。
I drink to that.
啊，擘大啦咋。
I got stories about sadness. Something in my mama just broke when my father left. Couldn't get her to eat most days, let alone feed me and my brother. Ooh, you got any stories with a bit of excitement to them?
係咪已經夠大啊呢隻？但我有刺激故事嘅。I do have. Did I？ 即係就咁咧？因為就咁啦，我驚揀錯。嚟 go。 曲折故事，講一部曲折嘅，就俾個恐怖故仔佢。曲折，命運就算顛沛流離。算啦，我放棄。
Ah, sun is up. One more night gone. I need to be going. If you want to hear more about the deal I made, you can look for me up the road this way.
Bye-bye.
I was about 25 when I left my first record contract. No more richer than I was before. Those men took me around like a freak show. Me and my guitar and my sad songs. I didn't know what to do once I was free again. Alone, drinking my sorrows. That's where the devil found me.
OK，就咁樣先啦，呢度就好好聽嗰首歌。哦，呢個就係嗰個 help， 我真係咩活動都冇，好難經營。我而家有39個故事，等我攞計數機除下先。我有除以39，我有15% 多少少嘅 percentage 啦，未到20%。我會再有續集嘅，呢個應該長線㗎啦，但係唔會係咁玩咯。呢個要慢慢收集。Collect story 啊，即係點啊？唔知 whatever， 就咁樣算啦。39個都算多啦，2個零鐘。聽日未知玩咩？我哋開個飛先啦，不過等等下，喂，隊長，開唔開週末啊？開唔開啊？而家係幾點啊？23點，唔係24號嘅23.25啦，我當出到嚟都。我唔記得咗琴日玩到幾多次。如果開中文佢可以教㗎嘛，因為好悠閒。唔開啊，都得嘅。OK， 結尾嘅個飛，哇咩嚟㗎？好悠閒啊！差啲唔記得密碼，我 show 佢出嚟㗎噃。基本上都應該撞到嘅，我諗。等你出牌。 會唔會太悠閒呢？今日啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦啦，放棄思考，哈哈！哇哦！唉，冇咩卡啱玩，冇啲好有趣嘅卡，哈哈。呢個啦，係運氣啊，其實唔係，其實並唔係呢個能力或者 skills， 而係運氣嘅呢個 game。你冇防守嗎？我賣個嘢俾你咯，等你唔好咁快。好啦，我下鋪賣個嘢俾你啦，係。Don't cry， Don't cry， 卑鄙。啊，你有喎，咁唔使啦，我就諗住話你冇，我賣個俾你添。你冇嗎？你而家咁高血，你而家咁高血。我有啲咩打好呢？冇㗎，你同我差唔多血啫嘛，其實而家跟我差不多血，你還好講？咦，唔係喎，呢個幾錢啊？都唔係好貴啫噃。算啦。咩嚟㗎呢個嘢？哦，唔需要其實。我有啊，就諗住賣另一樣嘢出嚟貼。哈哈哈！今日嘅牌雖然冇咩特別嘢，但係 OK， 很可以。我原本諗住賣另一樣嘢㗎，原本。乜你有咁勁嘅？冇醫藥費，係牌運，一切都是。我係會搞事嘅人。 啱用喎，點睇？都唔好啦。噔噔噔噔噔噔噔噔，我真係冇乜卡啱用。咁樣啦。噔噔噔噔噔噔。哇，係你啦！咁多，耶！牌運好，你嗰張卡可以重用㗎，我嗰張用咗就冇。係啊，冇錯啊，好，守唔住。喂，救命！如果睇緊台嘅人應該會知我救命緊啲咩咯。好，真係冇咯喎，唉，是但啦。咩事啊？OMG， 掉牌啦，一係。Thank you， 我掉到牌啦。我可以掉牌了。魔力不足，啱啊！係喎，我個守護神就咁就冇咗啦。一扣咗血就唔掂噶啦，而家先知，是但啦。卡咪什麼 ？Sag 冇卡用。返嚟啦，回來吧神！我有呢個，咦唔係喎，我彈佢做咩啊？我都會扣噶喎，唔用腦嘅後果來了。好，是但啦，勢均力敵嘅而家仲係。 哇，咁都得，幫你掉嗰牌添。我試過咧反彈2、3次咯，好好笑。啊？我呢個可以用嚟攻擊嘅咩？我而家先知喎。哦，原來係咁，你竟然有呢張卡，冇咪冇咯，我睇到啦，我都睇到啦，冇啦你拜拜啦，哈，我有好多呢個卡啊，因為，哈哈，耶，哇，我咪好強啊今日，我都覺。就係咁啦，呢個就係 That's Today 就是這樣，冇賠醫藥費，我有賣嘢俾你㗎。我第一次完成咗呢個壯舉，係賣嘢賣到人冇生命，一直都等緊呢個機會。我有好多唔知我嚟做咩卡咯，歌星啊，天國病啊，搶你錢係啊，冇錯。然之後我個找換又冇咩用咯，然之後我個海王神又淨係治癒呢個神奇嘅奇蹟，但我根本就冇遭遇過其他嘢，所以都冇用。我以為佢會幫我補血添 ，whatever。就係咁樣啦，呢個就係今日嘅直播。我唔知喎，聽日去做咩好咧？我都唔知啊。我又唔想動腦，我聽日星期5都可以動下腦嘅，反正都係會有假期嘅來臨。想一想啦，陣間諗到我就會講嘅。今日呢個遊戲咧，佢會再出現嘅，但係唔係聽日咯，應該。因為我覺得輕鬆遊戲嚟講，佢真係特別慢，佢仲慢過，即係我個 Pico Park， 我帶大家去旅行，我都會睇唔同景點，同埋比較快速。呢個係超級慢嘅，同埋比較偏向深夜 tension 咯。有啲咩咧？其他短嘅 game 或者長嘅 game 都 can do。思考一下。再來，差唔多啦，今日即將3個鐘，所以就慢慢收緊尾。你係咪想將呢個歌飛結你變成57個回合完結 ？OK 啦。唔係啊，如果糾纏嘅話咧，就可能會打到100幾咯。我試過有冇咧？我都唔係好記得。我試過打好耐一關一鋪應該叫，但我都淨係同電腦打過啫嘛。之前同電腦打佢哋真係佢哋唔會諗噶嘛。好多神奇事情會發生咯， 都有趣嘅。希望發多啲人 join 啦。如果係真係呢個變咗結尾嘅話，多啲人 join 啦。起碼4個，我覺得會好玩好多。常駐 game OK 嘅，太方便啦。開多個 browser 啫嘛，我都係。同埋又唔使點諗，我真係唔使點諗噶。我玩呢個 game，就係咁樣啦。係咯，我未 confirm 聽日玩咩嘅，各種各樣嘅都有可能啦。佢想多啲人玩啊！如果係呢個歌飛嘅話，好想搞聯動，係咪叫聯動啊？叫做參加營，大家一齊打牌。打牌 is good 啊，輕鬆。就咁樣咯，好似冇嘢好講咯，而家諗唔到。我會陣間會有 Twitter 出 post 嘅，雖然未 confirm 明天嘅行程，就咁樣先啦。係啊，4月1號咧，我朋友啦，佢哋會搞呢個婚禮，你哋可以睇我嘅 retweet 會見到。我應該會出現嘅，係啦，祝福一對新人，係啦，幫人哋宣傳。我而家係就咁樣啦，咁樣先啦，有咩就聽日再講啦。係咯，辛苦今日有嚟睇嘅大家啦，可能會有啲悶啦。同埋我唔知係我運氣定咩咯，遇親都係恐怖故事啦，一啲開心故事都冇咁滯啦。偷學係啊，宣傳啊，我怕大家聽到悶，但係都係咁意講下啦。咁我係from Virtual Hong Kong嘅 Diria Julie，咁我係個大學生。如果你中意今日嘅直播啦，中意我把聲啊，中意我會玩嘅 game 啊，咁咧就可以 subscribe 我嘅 channel， 同埋我會喺我嘅 Twitter 咧有廢文出現啦，同埋我會有個 IG， 你會可以見到我之前啲歷史，係啦。咁點咩環節啦？今日比較辛苦晒，靈音，原來你依然都冇撳出去，多謝你。多謝黑子啦，多謝 Harry Ho， 多謝盧思之，多謝克里斯，多謝靈音，多謝阿恒，多謝風鈴。係啦，今日嘅遊戲就佢會再出現嘅，不過唔係近期啦。我會定期玩一次，不過我諗會夜啲，方便大家俾我暗瞓覺。一邊聽一邊忙，原來係咁，幾好聽嘅。我覺得啲 voice 係嗰啲音樂啦，同埋個人嘅配音。但係如果真係你要睇我玩，就可能比較悶，就咁聽就 OK 嘅，我覺得啦。就係咁樣先啦，大家辛苦啦。另一位睇下，如果你之後冇咁忙，我哋可以玩歌飛，我哋多一隻牌腳。係啊，1比1啊，而家係增加牌腳會開心啲。如果唔係都係50-50嘅啫嘛，係咪先？好啦，期待多啲牌腳啦。今日就咁樣先啦。お疲れ様でした。いい夜よ。